Do I respond with love or do I respond with fear? That's bottom line. I can call it whatever I want, but I have a choice. Most people react. Oh, for crying out loud, they jump out their car and then they react. But this is a really neat space to be in. Something happens. How do I respond? Because however I respond is going to be in direct proportion to the outcome that I experience. And so I get out and I go over to the car, and I ask myself, what would love say? What would love do? What would love think in this moment? How would love act? Because my intention, from my perspective, my personality is love. I am love. So my reticular activating system kicks in and it looks for, in my day, places and ways that I can be love and and act as love and experience love. Like I'm always looking for ways to love. And at first it's weird if you're not in that space, but the more you do it, right, the more it becomes a habit and you start living in the space. So I get out of the car and I walk back to her car and I say, how's everything going? Are you okay? It's okay. Not a big deal. Let's get you off the road. And I have insurance. It's not a big deal. And like, I just start to do all these things that are of loving nature. And there could be a learning experience in this. And, she calls her dad and dad comes to the scene. He's all worried and he's all appreciative that I was able to be so nice and kind and help out and this and that. And now I do business deal with him, or who knows what it could lead to, versus if I responded in fear or anger or whatever. So I think it's just so important that we realize that we have a choice in the matter of how we look at life, because how we look at life creates our focus. It creates our personality. And that personality is our personal perspective of reality. Oh, I don't know if I can hear you there.
Yes, sorry, I was still on mute. Yeah, that's really beautiful, because I know on the consciousness scale, as we continue to progress, that's the state that we want to achieve. That's the state that we want to be in, because then we really start transforming that world around us, because our vibration is leading into that consciousness, the collective consciousness, and helping to raise it for those around us. Just like, being hit in the back with the vehicle, getting out, operating in love, helping the girl to get out of fear, you immediately raise her consciousness.
And this is so important that you just said that. So speaking of monkeys and monkey mind and consciousness, are you familiar with the six monkey effect? The 100th monkey effect?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know, 100th monkey effect. But yeah, that's a perfect example. And science says that when 3.5% to 5% of the consciousness meets a certain, elevated state, then it just starts popping off like light bright or like dominoes. And so the 100th monkey effect is, they had all of these monkeys on one side of the island or the continent, and these anthropologists were monitoring them. They taught them how to wash the potatoes. One monkey started doing it, and they all started, monkey see, monkey do. And then next thing you know, when enough of the collective consciousness understood that how to wash this potato, on the other side of the continent, monkeys that were never shown how to do this were like, aha, what is that? Great idea. Let's wash the potato. And they weren't shown how to do that. It was in the field. And so we're at a place in life right now, 2025, where the mass collective consciousness is higher and more loving and more unity and more understanding and more aware than it's ever been. We still have a long way to go, but it's happening quick. We're at that place where it's going to, once we get to that 3.5% to like 5%, it just takes over. So as we can see, if you're paying attention, I hope you're not paying attention to the news, but if it's hard to hide from what's going on in the Middle East and in Russia and all these things, all of that stuff could be something we focus on. And how's that going to make us feel, right? None of all that stuff, it is happening. I don't want people to think it's like not happening, but focusing on it, again, Dr. Wayne Dyer said, you feeling sick for sick people isn't going to make them healthy. You feeling poor for poor people isn't going to make them rich. How you feel isn't going to change anybody else. So you have to worry about your own self and get your vibration up as high as you can. And that's the game. That's the goal, is how do you raise your consciousness? How do you get your heart in alignment with your mind, right? It's like somebody that broke up with a partner and they're feeling bad, and the friend's like, just don't think about it. Think positive thoughts. Like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm not mad. I'm not hurt. It doesn't bother me. But the heart is telling you another story. And so we have to figure out what's going on here and connect it with what's going on here.
Right. So now tell me a little bit about your website. If people decide to visit it at fitmindsunited.com, what are they going to find there?
Well, really, it's just a space where I kind of have, some of my writings. I have some blogs and some different things that I've done. Um, you know, I don't work with a lot of people personally right now because I ended up in 2016 starting a retail business. I was in sales and doing a lot of stuff, and I was using the law of attraction big time, and it led me to become the number one salesperson for this company. And not just the number one salesperson, but I was attracting so much abundance and so many positive customers and so many sales that people thought it was an anomaly because I was more than doubling the rest of the sales force. And so I asked if I could train people in what I was doing. They're like, what are you doing? How are you? And they wouldn't let me because it was too woo-woo. It was too weird. It was too pseudoscience. Or we can't have you teach our sales force the law of attraction. And I'm like, well, did you see that I sold double everybody else? Like, don't you think it's worth it? They just weren't willing to do it as a corporate company, the whole nine yards. So I made a big radical leap, and in 2016, I quit my job cold turkey. And all my metaphysics teaching and all that stuff was always kind of my side hustle and my passion and just something I loved. But in the meantime, I had a day job of sales, and it made me a good living. Well, 2016, I realized that I'm going to have proof in the, what do they call it? Like proofs in the pudding. I need to have a proof of concept. So I started a retail business. And I said, I'm going to use, instead of setting goals, I'm not going to do goal setting. I'm going to do soul setting. I'm going to teach everybody the law of vibration. I'm going to teach everyone the freedom loop and all of this, freedom's a state of mind and all of my metaphysics. And I'm going to hire a sales team. People are like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're going to fail. You can't run a business like that in today's modern society. Well, fast forward to 2025. It's almost been 10 years now. Next year we'll celebrate 10 years. And this sweatshirt that I'm wearing is one of our company shirts, and it says freedom's a state of mind, and this is what we wear. And, it's so fun because this information is helping so many people. So to answer your question, my website is really just a space where people can go and connect with each other and, see some of the information that I